Salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show, coming from right here in our quaint little studio. I'm, of course, your host, John Campea. I'm joined in studio today by our technical director, Jonathan Voico.
Hello, everyone.
And most importantly, you guys are here. Thank you so much for being here and making our little show part of your day. And here's how our show's going to go. We're going to start off by talking about a number of predetermined topics we got lined up for you guys. Then in the second part of the show, well, that's the most important. That's when we take your live comments and questions. If you have a thought, theory, opinion, or a question you'd like us to address, as long as we deem it appropriate to be addressed on the show. We do reserve the right to not address any question we don't think is appropriate for the show. But if you have one, there are two different ways you can send a question in. The first way is if you're not watching this show live, like about 95% of the people watch this show a little bit later in the day after we've streamed live. So if you're watching this show later on and you have a question for the show, you can use our tip link simply at www.streamelements.com/JohnCampea/tip. Now, the other way is if you are watching the show live, well, if you're a live viewer, you can use the super chat feature there in the live chat to send it in. And once again, as long as we deem it appropriate for the show, we will answer it in the second part of the show. All right, guys. With that down, we got a bunch of things we need to talk about here today. Of course, we're going to get to the Dune 3 trailer. Dune 3 trailer. Ladies and gentlemen. Oh, my God. But we'll get to that in a little bit.
I wish I had an applause sound effect.
Oh, my God. And yet, we're going to start today with this. Tomorrow marks, again, a pretty big milestone and event, again, in entertainment history, again. As it is being reported that tomorrow, Disney legendary CEO Bob Iger will officially step down. Now, we knew he was going to step down this year, and once they actually went through and hired his successor, we knew it was going to be sooner rather than later. And Bob Iger is stepping down tomorrow. Again. Bob Iger's tenure as CEO of Disney has been nothing short of iconic and legendary. I mean, there are literally university professors who teach leadership on the stylings and the leadership approach of Bob Iger. And Variety wrote an article about this today. Writing, as Disney CEO Bob Iger steps aside, a look at his tenure as the dynamic, transformative leader with an asterisk. And there's an asterisk. Anyway, Bob Iger had been hailed as among the greatest CEOs of his generation. Very true. As he prepares to finally, and again, exit as Disney CEO and officially hands over the reins to former Parks chief Josh D'Amaro on March 18th. That's tomorrow. Iger will leave behind a strong track record of successfully executing and big M&A deals and pulling the media conglomerate into the streaming era. And don't forget, under Bob Iger's leadership, he acquired Pixar, he acquired Marvel, he acquired Star Wars. And if you wonder how any of those things, did for them, well, they go on to say this. Per a 2024 analysis by the Yale School of Management's Chief Executive Leadership Institute, each of those acquisitions have paid off handsomely. Disney has generated more than $40 billion in direct revenue from Pixar, not even counting the derivative revenue streams such as parks, attractions, and synergies with other Disney franchises. Marvel has contributed $13 billion in revenue, and Lucasfilm has brought in $12 billion of revenue. I think those things did well. And Marvel is just going to keep on chugging as a result of all that. And Pixar is going to keep making the money. Star Wars is going to keep making the money. Marvel's going to keep making the money. But they did address in the title of it, right? There was an asterisk. And there was. Now, while I affectionately refer to Bob Iger as Big Papa Iger, by the way, not an empty nickname too. Iger's a big man. I've met him a couple times. He's a big man. Like you wouldn't think it, but when you stand next to him, you're like, oh my God, like the dude is bigger than you think. At any rate. But of course, the one big blemish was his succession. At least the first one. The one where Bob Chapek had his infamous year as CEO. I mean, even Variety wrote this. But while he's earning kudos for smooth CEO transition at Disney this time around, one of the demerits on his otherwise stellar report card will be how he mishandled the handoff in 2020 to his handpicked successor at the time, Bob Chapek. And you guys remember how that went so disastrously that like 2 years later, the board had to come back and tell Bob Iger they needed to come back out of retirement, become CEO, got rid of Chapek. And listen, you can't minimize the damage that was done under Bob Chapek, because people often only look at direct results and they fail to look at losses and opportunity. Like Jonathan, you know this. In personal investing and stuff like this,
Right.
there's also what they call opportunity cost or lost opportunity cost. Right. So you can say, oh, I took $100,000 out of my investments and I bought this toy with it, and that cost me $100,000.
Mm-hmm.
But lost opportunity cost means you didn't just lose that $100,000. All the money, that $100,000 in price appreciation, in dividends, and all the money that $100,000 would have made you is also something you got to count as a loss.
Right.
Not that I would know anything about that. You got to count that as a loss as well. And Bob Chapek didn't just create chaos and damage, but they're still dealing with a lot of the fallout of what he did.
Ramifications.
The ramifications of it, like 4 years ago, are still playing out.
And misattributed faults.
Yeah.
To Iger and then his team on it, because it's only really the last maybe 6 to 9 months where we can say we're purely out of that phase, at least cinematically. So
yeah, but I mean, hey, listen, but to his credit, Iger came back. He got the ship righted. Marvel seems to now finally be on better footing. Things seem to be going in the right direction, and it's time for him to step away again. 75.
Wow.
75 years old. I think the dude just wants to go surfing. I think that's
hang
all
out
he
with
wants.
Alan Horn.
Yeah, him and Alan Horn, man. Oh, God. I could see them like old gangsters sitting at a little round tabletop on the sidewalk in front of a little Italian eatery.
Satriali's.
A little Sopranos style.
Yeah.
So anyway, look, congratulations to Bob Iger on stepping in. It is truly the end of an era. Again. As somebody in the live chat just put, we're sure to see Bob Iger will return in Avengers Doomsday.
Oh boy. How do you we went from someone who was behind home video. Now it's someone who's running the theme parks. Are there any kind of expectations? Is it just kind of sit back and wait and see? I mean, we won't see the ramifications for a little while.
Yeah, it's going to take a while.
There's an ease in and an ease out. So we won't see that.
Yeah, we're not going to really feel the impact of DeMero's leadership, probably even in the tiniest ways, for at least 6 months or so. And in real practical ways, probably a year or two from now. But I think this time they made sure they brought somebody in who is much more in line with the vision of the board and of Iger. And they have a plan. And hopefully this time around, they've just dotted their I's and crossed their T's a little bit better to make sure he's going to stick with that.
Yeah.
Other than what Bob Chapek did. But anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? The biggest entertainment company, Disney, the CEO is stepping down again. Tomorrow is going to be Bob Iger's final day as he leaves the position. We've got a new CEO. Whatever you guys think about all that, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move from one CEO to another, shall we? You know, it's good to be Bob Iger. He's made a lot of money for Disney, a lot of money from Disney, and now he gets to retire. 75, still in great shape and health, going to enjoy himself. You know who else is good to be, Jonathan?
Who?
Oh, it's good to be the Zaz.
Oh, boy.
David Zaslav, of course, the guy who saved Warner Brothers. And again, people try to have this debate. What do you mean he saved Warner Brothers? When David Zaslav took over, this is just a fact. When David Zaslav took over Warner Brothers, it was a 27 gunshot, bullet-ridden, dying, bleeding out patient on an emergency room table.
Almost like Paramount.
Almost like Paramount is now. But I mean, AT&T had run Warner Brothers into the ground. They were dead.
Mm-hmm.
They were dead. Bob Iger, we were just talking about Iger. David Zaslav comes in and does what good leaders have to do. Make some unpopular decisions. He had to make some hard choices and decisions, but he got them back on their feet. And like just this year, Warner Brothers wins more Oscars than anybody else. They won Best Picture with one battle after another. Sinners was theirs. Weapons was theirs. Like all this kind of stuff. They just started killing it. Their HBO Max content is through the roof and amazing and became profitable. All that kind of stuff. He's done an amazing job. And I know some people still get mad, but he took my favorite cartoon off of... Okay, yeah, he did. Listen, he had to make some tough choices to turn things around there. And he did. He took a company that was valued at nickels and just got it sold for $110 billion. That's
debt.
what he did.
Yeah.
Well, now he's getting ready to depart. And boy, what a departure it's going to be. Because according to this article in Deadline, David Zaslav is getting a massive payday for leaving. They're saying it's close to $1 billion. 800 plus million.
Plus the 114 he sold.
Or I think that the 800 something might include the 114 sold.
Okay.
But the article at Deadline goes on and writes this.
Well, what's 100 million between friends?
Yeah, what's 100 million here and there? The new numbers are out and they're big. Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav is set to receive payments and benefits valued at well over $700 million at the close of the company's planned sale to Paramount Skydance. An SEC filing Monday laid out the bucks based on the $31 a share cash deal and a severance agreement because he's going to lose his job.
Man.
His severance agreement included in the chief executive's current employment contract. The bundle composed of $34.2 million in cash severance payment. Imagine you had a job.
Yes.
Where it's a part of your job where, oh, by the way, if I'm ever fired, you have to give me $34 million.
Yeah. You've got to give me the GDP of a town.
Yeah. That's not a bad situation to be in. So $34.2 million in a severance payment. Equity valued at $517.2 million, reflecting the aggregate cash value uninvested, blah, blah. Units restricted, another 44 some odd million. The documents also include tax reimbursements of $334 million. Basically, bottom line, which the merger related to the payout is going to be $886.8 million.
That's some generational wealth.
That's 100 people's generational wealth.
Yeah, that's going down the line, man.
Like that's insane. Now before anybody tries to connect dot A to dot Q and say, well, no wonder he backs the Paramount deal. Remember, this is the package he would be getting if Netflix bought them. Mm-hmm. This is the package he would be getting if Paramount bought them. Doesn't matter to him. His job as the CEO is to get the shareholders as much money as possible.
And I guess he turned down the offer to co-run Paramount. Like that was part, so he's leaving because
the initial David Ellison pitch. We're going back months and months and months ago. David Ellison's initial pitch was for Paramount to buy Warner Brothers. And according to a report in Variety, that included that David Zaslav would become co-CEO of the whole thing with David Ellison. Mm-hmm. Now, they rejected it because David Zaslav thought that wasn't in the best interest of their shareholders and so on and so forth. And listen, if I got the option of keep working or take $800 million and go do whatever I want, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to take the $800 million and go do whatever I want. That's my choice to do. So, I mean, good on him. So it looks like pretty soon we're going to be down a couple of our, who have been our big entertainment executives for the last few years. Bob Iger, who had returned, and David Zaslav's going to be gone. And we'll be left with David Ellison.
Just hoping Ted Sarandos does all the right moves.
Listen, I'm not going to be surprised if this was all. I won't be surprised if Netflix isn't playing 4D chess.
kind of thought that myself.
And that Netflix is going to own Paramount and Warner Brothers in the next 3 years
Wouldn't that be something?
for less than what he was going to buy Warner Brothers for.
That is some Game of Thrones baller move right there.
Bum, 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 bum,
Yeah.
bum. That's what he's Sarandon's
He's just gonna walk in and
anyway.
be like, Netflix remembers.
Netflix remembers. David Elson's in the boardroom. They say, sorry, David, we got to let you go. What are you talking about? The door opens. In comes Joaquin Sarandos.
Yeah.
Netflix remembers. Oh, my God. Anyway, guys, question is for you. How often have you had an $800 million payout for leaving your job? It's fun, isn't it? It's really good. Whatever you think about this, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, we go from one CEO and Bob Iger to another CEO and David Zaslav to another CEO in the entertainment space, the aforementioned king of the Netflix,
Yeah.
Ted Sarandos. You know, one of the interesting things about the whole Warner Brothers drama, about who was going to buy Warner Brothers, Netflix or Paramount, was I've talked about this a lot. When Netflix first got into the fray, that they were also interested in getting Warner Brothers. I said, my initial reaction was, I said it on this show, Netflix getting Warner Brothers would be the worst case scenario. This would be cataclysmic.
Mm-hmm.
However, what intelligent people do, and I try to at least act intelligent, what intelligent people do is as new information becomes available, we reevaluate our opinions. That's what one should do when new information comes out. And Ted Sarandos, who, the rep of him has always been, he hates movie theaters and blah, blah, blah. Well, he started coming out and started doing the tours and talking about how, listen, this is a completely different business than ours. We like what they do. And we've never done theatrical because theatrical isn't part of what we do at Netflix, but it is what Warner Brothers does. And we want to get in that business. And they have the distribution infrastructure. They have all the experience. They have the personnel. They have it all. And we want to be in that game. And then he laid out why they wanted to be in that game and why they wanted to be theatrical. And here's the thing. While some people who don't think for themselves started going, well, he's just saying that he's lying. Well, why? Nobody wanted to put forward the why. Why? Okay, so if he doesn't want Warner Brothers to be in the theatrical business, then why does he want Warner Brothers? Nobody would ever say why.
No.
The people would be like, well, he's just lying. Okay, so what's his secret ulterior motive here?
The bad taste came from the actor and writer strikes. And it's like lingering
And
scars.
understandably so.
And it's lingering scars from that, because even I at first felt that way. Like, well, he kind of seemed like he wanted to ruin the industry and that, but it just doesn't make sense on paper.
Now, they were offering to buy Warner Brothers for the $70 to $80 billion range.
Mm-hmm.
And people say, well, he just wants to buy Warner Brothers so he can kill movie theaters. You do realize he could buy all 5 of the top 5 movie theater chains for probably about $5 billion total.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of $70 billion to get Warner Bros. But anyway, what I said on the show was, I sat down and I did the math and I said, oh, yeah, Ted Sarandos doing what Ted Sarandos said he was going to do is in his own best interests. And if there's anything I trust in, is I trust in the greed of corporations to always do what is in their own best interests. I have never, Jonathan, that philosophy has never led me astray. That philosophy has never gotten me in trouble. If you trust in corporations' greed to always do what is in their own best interests,
Right.
you will never be let down.
Sometimes that benefits the people. Sometimes it doesn't.
Yep. I mean, now, who it benefits? I mean, but
it benefits
you
the company.
always know the corporations
Yeah.
will act in their own best interest.
Right.
And it just became apparent doing this deal with Warner Brothers was, in fact, in Netflix's best interests.
Mm-hmm.
So I believed in it. Somebody asked me a question, though, on the show the other day, a little bit ago, like after it became clear that Paramount had increased their bid and Netflix backed out of the deal. Somebody wrote in and asked, do I see Netflix still wanting to get into theatrical? And I think I said at the time something along the lines of, yes, but they can't do it themselves. They don't have that infrastructure. They don't have the logistics. They don't have that experience and that expertise. They needed something like Warner Brothers to do it. But I said, I do think Sarandos has caught a bit of the theatrical bug. Well, in a news story in Deadline, Ted Sarandos, without getting into it too much, kind of tipped his hand a little bit. He said this. This is Sarandos speaking. He said, I had a great meeting in February with the International Union of Cinemas and the heads from all the different countries about what challenges they have, how we could be more helpful as Netflix, or how they could be helpful to us too, said Sarandos. I think we'll come out of this, the failed Warner Brothers acquisition, I think we'll come out of this with a much more creative relationship with exhibition. Exhibition is another word for the movie theaters. I think we'll come out of this with a much more creative relationship with theaters around the world. And by way of example, doing things that we haven't done before. I don't recommend testifying before Senate again, but it was an amazing experience for sure. Which is, that's because you remember he had to go into that furnace in those Senate hearings. But I think this is interesting. And I think, because, you know, when I was asked about that thing with Sarandos and could we see Netflix after everything they said about it during the Warner Brothers acquisition, now that Warner Brothers is off the table, I said, I don't know what they can do because, again, they don't have Warner Brothers. You can't just say we're going to be a theatrical movie production team now. It doesn't work that way.
Right.
But I said, I think he caught the bug a little bit. And hearing him coming out now when he doesn't have Warner Brothers, he's not in the run to get it, saying, you know what? I had some great meetings with movie theater owners, and I think we can help them, and I think they can help us. And I think moving forward, we're going to see a more creative relationship between us and theaters. Again, they do not have the logistical infrastructure to now suddenly become a global distributor of their own films.
Right.
They just don't have it. But it's going to be interesting to see in what ways Netflix can gradually and progressively more and more get their feet more and more wet in that pool of theatrical. So it's going to be interesting to see how they go with it. Or if they are indeed just playing 4D chess and they know Paramount's going to drown in its own debt and they're going to come in and buy Paramount and Warner Brothers for pennies on the dollar in 3 years. Who knows? Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Ted Sarandos is saying that he's reflecting on his meetings he had with theatrical owners. He thinks they're going to have a more robust relationship with theaters moving forward. What does that look like when they don't have their own distribution arm? It's going to be interesting to see. Whatever you guys think about that, jump down into the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this. We're going to talk a little bit about the Rebel Wilson situation here.
Mm-hmm.
But before we do, let me give this caveat here. You guys know that I generally won't cover stories that have nothing to do with the movies. Like if it's just celebrity drama, I generally try to stay away from it. My one rule, and you guys who have watched my show know that this is the rule. The times that I will allow those two to intersect is if it has a direct impact on an upcoming film. If at the center of it is an upcoming film, not a past film, but maybe a film that's right now or is coming out. There's a film that's directed by Rebel Wilson. And by the way, I've always liked Rebel Wilson. I think she's an absolutely dynamite performer. I think she's got terrific screen presence. Loved her in Jojo Rabbit. And I've always liked her in just about everything she's done and everything she's been in. And she was taking on this thing to be, some of you may not have heard of this, her first directorial film that she was directing. I believe it was called The Deb. Now, without going into all the details, some drama started to unfold on The Deb between her and some of the film's producers that led to allegations and then to lawsuits and things like that. Now, at the heart of it, from the best that I can read it, as I look at this Hollywood Reporter story, leaked audio reveals Rebel Wilson's PR team plotted to smear the movie producer as a sex trafficker. And we'll get into this here. But at the heart of it was one of the producers by the name of Amanda Ghost, which is a cool name, by the way.
Yeah.
Amanda Ghost. I guess Rebel Wilson started spreading things that Amanda Ghost and some other producers were embezzling money from the movie, to which Amanda Ghost and some of the other producers brought a lawsuit against Rebel Wilson for defamation, saying we embezzled money. Because listen, if you're a producer in Hollywood and you get accused of embezzling money from a production, you're never going to work again.
That's it. Yeah.
So they brought a lawsuit against Rebel. Then Rebel filed a counter lawsuit adding to the claims, saying that Amanda Ghost was sexually harassing the star of the movie. Like, oh my goodness, now it's getting salacious. But then the star of the movie came out and said, no, she didn't. I had never said that Amanda Ghost like in any way acted inappropriate towards me. I don't know what Rebel Wilson's talking about. So anyway, you had this drama going on, and they debuted the film, I believe, at TIFF. I think it was TIFF they debuted the film at. And so we're waiting for it to come to be available to everybody else. Well, now it's taken a wild turn. And it brings up a larger issue about what is going on in the entertainment industry as a whole. So let's start with the Rebel Wilson situation. So as we point out this article here, there's an audio recording. I won't play it here for fear of copyright. There's an audio recording here that you can see down here on the page that basically alleges, it's allegedly of Rebel Wilson's PR team discussing setting up a smear campaign against that producer, Amanda Ghost, to discredit her. Now, one of the interesting thing is the guy in the thing is saying, okay, we can't just, where does it say? Yeah. We can't just do like, oh, she's a bitch and she sucks. It says in the recording, it's like we've got to go really, really heavy and connected to something heavy. And basically what the audio recording goes on, you hear, is this conspiracy for them to anonymously set up websites that claim that Amanda Ghost is a Hollywood madam. And she gets young women for her billionaire men friends.
Oh, you motherfuckers.
And you hear them planning this out, that they were going to set up this whole smear campaign and all this kind of stuff. And we're going to put this out there that she actually, you know, does all this stuff and everything to completely try to discredit her, right? Now, at the heart of it was the PR agency called the Agency Group.
Which I hate that name.
But I do like the TAG. I like that.
Yeah.
TAG's a pretty cool acronym.
Yeah.
I could go with that. But yeah, called the Agency Group. Now,
We're the company.
we're the company. We're the company. And I'm going to trademark that.
Yeah.
I want that. Company.com.net.
Yeah.
So if you're sitting at home right now, though, and thinking, well, that's horrible. And they did, by the way. An anonymous website got launched that made the rounds. It was called Amanda Ghost is the Destroyer of Worlds. That was the name of it. And it went on to allege all these things that they talked about in this meeting. Let's set this up and blah, blah, all this kind of stuff, right? But if you're also sitting there at home and thinking to yourself, wow, why does that name the TAG? I mean, first of all, that's disgusting.
Right.
What they're doing to this woman. But why does that name TAG Agency or the Agency Group, why does that sound familiar? Why does that sound familiar? If the name of that PR group sounds familiar, it's because it's the same PR group that worked for Justin Baldoni in the Blake Lively stuff. It's the same PR company. Now, for those of you who may not keep up with this kind of nonsense, and we haven't talked about this stuff on the show because it's irrelevant to what movies are coming out, but this is directly connected to the Rebel Wilson thing, which is directly connected to the Deb, and a larger issue about how all this stuff is handled in Hollywood amongst the public. So the Agency Group is this. They had what was called the 4-month plan. Tell me if this sounds familiar with what was just going on with Rebel Wilson. The 4-month plan, Lively's legal team produced evidence of, this is from the Agency Group, of a $175,000 battle plan. The plan allegedly focused on Astroturfing, planting threads of theories on platforms like Reddit and TikTok to frame Lively as a difficult diva and opportunist. Social manipulation, using a digital army coordinated by consultant Jed Wallace, who's also involved in the other situation, to pose as fans and attack anyone posting negative comments about Baldoni or positive comments about Lively. I think I've had some of those in my comment sections. Planting the creative control narrative. When rumors surfaced that Lively had commissioned her own edit of the film, It Ends With Us, TAG allegedly worked with to weaponize this. They reportedly leaked stories to friendly media outlets, framing her as someone who hijacked the film from its director. This was designed to shift the focus away from Lively's actual complaints regarding workplace safety and sexual harassment on set. And then, of course, there was the big "we can bury anyone." This is one of the heads of TAG. Perhaps the most famous piece of evidence in the Lively case is the series of texts obtained from forensics examination of the publicist's phones. In one message, Melissa Nathan of TAG reportedly wrote, "We can bury anyone." Now, this is the same group involved with the Rebel Wilson situation, going after the producer, Amanda Ghost. And man, what I wouldn't have given to be on the red carpet of this film's debut at the film festival and to see the tension going on between them. But anyway, okay. So first of all, now I got to question whether this movie's ever even going to come out or if it's going to get buried. Because apparently, if I understood it right, and I may not have, like the producers, Amanda Ghost and whatever, are trying to get the film from not being released. They're trying to stop its release. Anyway, it's a mess. But it raises an even bigger question about how, I used to watch this show. I think it was a Shonda Rhimes show. What was it again? Where the girl ran a fix-it agency, but she was also secretly dating the president of the United States. That sounds like a TV show. Anybody in the live chat? Scandal. Thank you. Char Lester is the first one in the live chats. I remember I used to watch the first few seasons of Scandal. This is like straight out of Scandal, man. Like, and it just makes me wonder when you hear about stuff like this and you actually see the physical evidence.
It's the worst minute and 3 seconds of their of company's life.
Yeah, of company.com.net.
Whatever they're called.
It makes me wonder about how much of this stuff that gets whispered, how many of the comments in my own comment, by the way, I'm making no representations that it's 1%, 5%, 90%, 100%. I don't know. But it makes me wonder.
Yeah, how much is dropped out there that's not even true?
Yeah, how much stuff that I see on certain threads is legit and how much of it is a coordinated campaign.
Yeah.
How many of the comments that I've read on certain topics in my own chats and in my own comment sections are less than legitimate. Like, I just don't know. But I mean, to me, an agency like this, and again, let me re-emphasize, everything here is alleged.
Right.
Okay. So let me just give that blanket statement to everything here. Everything is alleged. But should any of this be true, and I'm saying, should any of it be true, because hopefully I find out that it's not, how does anybody in this business work with Rebel Wilson again? And how can a company like TAG, if the stuff is legit, how can they be allowed to exist? And listen, I'll go one step further. It's one thing to play a little dirty. That happens. I mean, that happens. It's one thing to play a little dirty. But let's just stick with the situation of Amanda Ghost. If you are literally planting false narratives in the public that your target is like involved in the sex trade, especially in today's environment, I'm sorry. You shouldn't just lose your license. You should go to jail. You can destroy somebody's life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying you can destroy their career. You can destroy someone's life with that sort of stuff. And again, what I hope to find out is like, no, 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 all this was one giant misunderstanding. I hope that's the case, because I don't like to think about there being people actually like this. So I hope that's the way it turns out. But if through some set of circumstances, any of this turns out to be real, I don't just think this company should be driven out of existence. I think there are people that need to go to jail. Because like, look, with the reality is the world we live in, you paint somebody as a sex trafficker today,
Right.
you're putting their life in danger.
Yeah. Because then you also have the hordes of people who are going to go nuts with this information and then push conspiracy theories. And next thing you know, she had ties with Epstein. We should go get her. You know?
And okay, now imagine Amanda Ghost has kids.
Right.
I don't know that she does.
No, of course.
What are her kids reading? What are their kids saying to them at their high schools or their, God forbid, grade schools or anything? Anyway, it's just really concerning. I hate seeing stuff like this in the industry I love so much. And I just, man, I hope whatever the truth is in all this, it comes to the surface to exonerate people or to root out something that really shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
Either way, like, and I'm making no representations that I, have any kind of belief that it's one or the other. I'm just saying, if it is, this is horrible, man. And it really makes me question every time I go to any movie inbox, comments I read from people on Rotten Tomatoes or here. It's just how much of it is authentic fans talking out of passion and how much of it is a coordinated. Because it turns out, Jonathan, when I saw Superman, James Gunn's Superman, and there's that scene in the alternate dimension thing where Lex Luthor had the army of 1,000 monkeys. Turns out that wasn't so far-fetched.
No.
Turns out there's actually that is art based on some reality.
They
sucks.
Yeah, it does. And you did mention prison. I'm trying to just think of the myriad of ways you could end up. Because if you are saying that you're creating websites and you're falsifying that this person runs these websites, then there could probably be a case for a prison.
I mean, again,
because you're falsifying someone's identity.
Like, look, and I'm not talking about saying, I think this person's stupid. Well, okay, you can say that. You don't go to jail. But I mean, when you start saying somebody is like literally in the human trade.
Yeah, but you're creating websites and saying they own these websites and these are run by that. You know what I mean? So
again, this is a messy, messy situation, which should have been a fun celebration of a Hollywood star getting her first directorial project out there. This should have been a great feel-good story, and instead it's turned into something really horrible. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? You know what? Never mind. Don't leave your comments because I have no way of knowing if they're real or not. Anyway. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this. Daredevil on Netflix was one of the best comic book based television shows ever. It was just outstanding, especially at the time. It was like cutting edge. It was grim. It was gritty. It was dark, but at the same way, it took great liberties with the source material to make the show better, and yet also stayed very faithful to the source material all at the same time. I know it sounds like those two ideals are diametrically opposed, but it was true. They took a lot of liberties to make the show better, but they stayed very faithful at the same time. It was crazy good. Then they brought it over to Disney. And Disney launched last year with Daredevil. I almost said Daredevil Brand New Day. Yeah. Daredevil Born Again. Mm-hmm. And I think it's fair to say, correct me if I'm wrong on this in the live chat, but I think it's fair to say people liked it and generally agreed that it wasn't quite as good as Daredevil on Netflix. Is that fair to say that generally speaking, the consensus was we like Daredevil Born Again, but the general consensus was also not quite as good as what was on Netflix?
Right.
I mean, I'm sure some people thought it was terrible, and I'm sure some people thought it was better than what it was on Netflix. But generally speaking, I personally quite enjoyed it.
So did I.
Now, but I agree with everybody else that it wasn't quite as good as, say, the 3 seasons that were on Netflix, but I still thought it was really good. I was very, very entertained by it.
There seems to be like this undercurrent though, where it's like everyone hated it, right? Like let's rewrite history. I think Company released that statement.
I think company.com.net put that one out. But anyway, yeah, so we've been waiting for season 2 to come out. Of course, a lot of people excited because Jessica Jones is back. There's talk about maybe some other Defenders coming back. Don't think we're getting Punisher this season. That's okay. As long as we get Charlie Cox back as Matt Murdock, it's all good. Well, it's coming out soon. The first couple of episodes are dropping next week. But now we've got our first reactions from Daredevil season 2. And according to this headline in Joe Blow, it's saying the first reactions to Daredevil Born Again season 2 say it is an action-packed return that is better in every way. Not better than the Netflix one, but better than season 1 in every way. Now, as somebody who already quite enjoyed season 1, that's pretty good to hear. Let's get through and see what some of them are saying. Our own friends over at joeblow.com are saying, Daredevil Born Again season 2, the action begins bloody and brutal and does not let up at all. If season 1 was too slow for you, and I like the character work in season 1 personally, but some people wanted more punchy, and that's okay. I like the punchy. The action begins bloody and brutal and does not let up at all. If season 1 was too slow for you, this season is here to kick your ass. And I like that. And again, I love the guys at Joe Blow. One of the true pillars in the online film fan community. Anyway, so they really liked it. Rohan Patel wrote, Daredevil Born Again season 2 is pure, unadulterated mayhem with unreal action sequences that really takes things to another level. This is the MCU at its finest, and Cox has never been better. I cannot wait for what's next. Box Office Analyst wrote, season 2 is a complete 180 from season 1. Bigger, brighter, and brilliant. Cox was born for this, and Karen has become the show's beating heart. Anne Wolf's portrayal is insane. By the way, she's a big Dungeons & Dragons player. Is insane. Jessica Jones is back, giving me goosebumps. One of Marvel's television best seasons ever. Nexus Point writes, Daredevil Born Again season 2 is exactly the upgraded that we needed. This is Daredevil in its finest form yet in the MCU. The narrative is darker. Actual stakes are in effect. The cinematography and lighting are absolutely stunning, and the fights feel like they're taken straight out of... Well, I'm not going to click on show more, but I'm going to guess good. Christopher Gallardo writes, Daredevil Born Again season 2 is more brutal, darker, and vicious. Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio continue to put in their dues. The action is ramped up, and the new faces, see Matthew Lillard, captivate. It takes a few surprising turns that excite fans too. So it just went on. And I've read a few. Now, it's going to be interesting again to see the full reviews once they start hitting Rotten Tomatoes. Because as we have noticed before, when people are just giving their first reactions, they tend to focus more on the positive.
Right.
Right? Like they mean everything they say, but we don't get to hear, okay, now, having said that, and then go on to the negatives, because, it's just a social media post, it's short. So I am going to be curious to see what the full reviews kind of flesh out about it. But like Joe Blow saying, this is by far better in every way. Love it.
I mean, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting. Hearing everybody saying it, like everybody across the board saying far more action, more violent. That's going to be a plus for a lot of people. So yeah, man, I'm just excited to see this show.
I'm excited to see the show. I'm also, another reason why I'm excited for this to be good is because of this trail that we talked about yesterday with Rob, where you had Wonder Man was great.
Yeah.
This could be great.
Yeah.
You go into a great Spider-Man. You go into a great Vision Quest. You go into a great Dune. Like, that's Marvel's back.
I mean, yes, at that point.
Yeah.
I remember somebody asking me.
It's a lot of ifs, but.
It's a lot of ifs, but it's based on some credibility, because after I saw Thunderbolts, and I loved it. Like I loved Superman, and I really enjoyed Fantastic Four, but I thought Thunderbolts was the best comic book movie of 2025. I loved the movie. I honestly think it's a top 10 Marvel film.
Yeah, it's fun.
Maybe not top 5, but a top 10 Marvel film for me. And somebody asked me, so is Marvel back? And I'm like, whoa. I mean, look, during this period of struggle that I've called this era from Endgame in 2019 to more modern times. You know, Marvel has had some big hits. I mean, Shang-Chi was fantastic. They have had a couple of things that have been really good. It's just that they've Guardians of the Galaxy 3. It's just that they've been so inconsistent up and down. One really great film in Thunderbolts is not going to make me say Marvel's back. You need to string together some wins.
Yeah.
Right? But you're right. We're in a different place right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's too bad about Captain America 4 because that set us back a bit. But once you get past Captain America 4, what have we had? We've had Thunderbolts, Fantastic Four, which I thought was quite good.
Mm-hmm.
We just had Wonder Man, which was surprisingly high quality.
It's my favorite series.
Wonder Man was such a pleasant surprise.
Mm-hmm.
So we go Thunderbolts, Fantastic Four, Wonder Man. So that's our 3 in a row. That's a streak. Now, if Daredevil season 2 can actually deliver, and then we got Spider-Man, Brand New Day, and then we've got Vision Quest, which I'm hearing is fantastic.
Terry Matalas, so I put faith in that.
Terry Matalas running it. So I mean, but I'm hearing it's fantastic.
Yeah.
You're talking about going into Doomsday now with something Marvel hasn't had in 7 years. A legitimate long win streak. Because if we could have, and if all these are quality the way we think you, if we could go Thunderbolts, Fantastic Four, Wonder Man, Daredevil, Spider-Man, Vision Quest, you're talking about like 6 quality things in a row leading into things. At that point, I think we're ready to say Marvel's back.
Yeah. And because also before this, you know, Disney Plus was not firing on all cylinders. So even when you were still getting good things theatrically, you were rarely getting good things on Disney Plus. So the fact that they're both hand in hand now, the quality's there is great.
By the way, Adam in live chat is reminding me, I wish you didn't, is reminding me you forgot about Ironheart.
Yeah, but we're counting from Wonder Man. We're not counting from Ironheart.
Well,
but yeah,
I was counting from Thunderbolts.
But it is in there, so fair play.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
You're right. But you know what?
Hey.
The fact that we all forgot about it is a good sign for
Nobody
Marvel.
bats 1,000.
Nobody bats 1,000. Kind of, yeah, and Ironheart wasn't so good. Man, I wanted to like Ironheart.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, though, I mean,
that stinger at the end was cool.
That thing with Sacha Baron Cohen.
Yeah.
I would love, the way he played that character was premium. I love the way he played that character. It was Mephisto, man.
Right.
It was great, which was a nice little add-on there too. But somebody's saying Echo. Now, Echo was a long time ago. We're talking about since Thunderbolts. But anyway, guys, question is for you. Are you looking forward to Daredevil Born Again Season 2? I'm getting kind of worked up for it. I'm really excited about it. And what do you think about these first reviews we hear coming out from it? It seems like across the board, they're just saying it's bigger, it's better, it's grittier, it's more violent. I think that's what a lot of people want to hear. Anyway, whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and leave your thoughts there. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this. Sana Gaib! Dune 3! Oh my God! Dune 3 dropped their trailer this morning. We knew it was coming.
Yeah.
Now, you guys know, to me, Dune 2, oh my God, I got so excited about it. My watch even just gave me a warning. Oh, it turned off. I got so worked up talking about Dune 3's trailer. My watch just gave me a warning that my heart rate spiked up to 86.
That's amazing.
I'm like, oh my God. Guys, listen, Dune 2, I still believe is the best movie of the last 10 years. I think it's the best film that we've had in the art of the last decade. You don't have to agree with me, and that's okay if you don't, but I do. It's just peak cinema. Mm-hmm. It is cinema. So I've been a little bit nervous, though, about Dune 3.
Right.
And John, why have you been nervous about Dune 3? The reason I'm nervous about Dune 3 is because I don't think Dune Messiah, the book, is very good.
I think that's the consensus.
I mean,
generally,
yeah.
As the series went on, not a lot of people made it through the end of that series.
Listen, there are 398 books in the Dune series. I might be off by a few. but there were a lot, and they got progressively worse as they went. And Dune Messiah they just do a number of things in Dune Messiah that I just, anyway. So I'm not a big fan of the story of Dune Messiah. But the one thing that I've kind of held out hope for is the fact that when you look at Dune 1 and 2, Denis Villeneuve took a lot of liberties.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he changed a lot. Like, he keeps the core of the story, but he makes a lot of changes. For those of you who've read the book, you know what I'm talking about, right? So my one big thing that I've been kind of holding out hope for is that as we go into Dune Part 3, and he's calling it Dune Part 3, he's not calling it Dune Messiah. As we move into Dune Part 3, we have a situation where Denis is going to take even more liberties to really make it the conclusion of his movies rather than stick to the book Dune Messiah.
Right.
And while I watched this trailer, guys, this trailer, I know we're only in March, so this isn't saying a lot, but I'll say it. It is the best trailer of the year so far. This trailer had the intensity. It had the passion. It focused on the characters we know and love. You get that conflict that we saw Paul was struggling with in Dune Part 2. It's like, I cannot go, because if I go, it's going to lead to a very dark place and very bad things are going to happen, but then he had to go. And then we see him continue with that struggle. There's this line, I'm paraphrasing it a little bit, his line, the harder I fight, the more my enemies fight back. Like, it's like just all that. And he says to his mother, goes, how did father deal with this? And the mom's, your father never started a war. Like, ooh, sick burn. This, and then, oh my God. And then you got Paul Atreides' greatest hits as he's doing his version of Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
But he's singing out in Fremen language. Like, that was just awesome. And to hear the music and the score and the background and the scope of the visuals. And my warning just went off again. My heart rate's getting high. Oh my God.
We even got Batman boy.
It's then, yeah, by the way, so my wife Ann's at work, and the minute this trailer drops, I'm watching it, and I'm picking up my phone to text my wife to let her know the Dune trailers. And as I'm texting her, my phone rings and it's her. She goes, I just saw the Dune trailer. I'm like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And like, we were talking about it for a minute, and I said, what do you think about Robert Pattinson? So bring that picture up again.
Oh, shoot.
She's like, what do you think? Or just bring it up on my screen here.
Yeah.
What do you think about Robert Pattinson in it? She goes, I didn't think Robert Pattinson was in the trailer. I'm like, you didn't see him? She goes, is he the blonde guy? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, I didn't even recognize him at first. I mean, look, trailers follow a certain pattern these days. They don't all, but for the most part, they follow a certain pattern. First trailers to a movie, just a little taste. Give you a sense of tone. They don't really give you much. They don't tell you much. They don't show you much. But they give you a sense of the tone. And this trailer does follow that. We don't get a lot of narrative.
Yeah.
We don't get, like what's going on with why is Duncan Idaho back there? Why is Lobo there all of a sudden? Why is Jason Momoa suddenly back? They don't go into any of that stuff. They just show you things, right? As a first trailer, whose only job was just to communicate tone and act as an announcement to the world, this was stunning.
Oh, nailed it. I cannot wait to see this in theaters. The trailer.
Oh, I cannot wait to see this on an IMAX screen.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I went to go see Project Hail Mary again last night.
Uh-huh.
And my first time seeing it, there were no trailers of anything. Last night, there were trailers. And I was kind of hoping they would pop up the Dune. But I knew Denis was doing his thing last night. So
I'm going to see it on Thursday. So I'm hoping I'm going to see Dune 3 and Spider-Man.
I guarantee you're going to see Spider-Man and Dune.
Yeah. I'm looking forward
By the way, I hate what Sony is doing tomorrow. Have you heard about this?
What's that?
I won't go into it in depth right now. We'll talk more about it tomorrow. But they're not dropping the trailer for Spider-Man tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
At least at first. Different outlets are going to get a segment of the trailer.
Stupid.
They're
like,
Sony,
Marvel did these little vignettes.
Doing?
Let's do the same. No.
Yeah, this is more dumb than Chair Watch. Like, this is idiotic. It's a trailer. Drop it.
Just drop it.
And anyway.
Oh, by the way, Anya Taylor-Joy, I'm going to bring her up in this shot.
Oh, yes.
She looked amazing.
Oh, my God. She's absolutely one of the best actresses in the world right now.
Man.
She's one of the best actresses in the world right now.
And this shot with, like, it was almost like the Shogun right here. It was so cool.
Just so much, like, visceral action and war. And, like, this is the culmination. Like, Denis has made no bones about it. This is the culmination. This is the climax of his Dune story.
Look at this shot. Come on. I was afraid this was going to be kind of boring, and now I'm like, dude, come on, let's go.
Dude, there's that one shot too where it's like a priestess standing at the top with this white
the veil.
garbs, and the veil's all blowing in the wind. Like, just it's
the imagery is intense,
visually delicious. Now, look, I don't know if Dune 3 will end up being as good as Dune 2. I don't know. The trailer's amazing. The posters have been great, by the way.
He's looking a little Sith there.
Yeah.
With blue eyes.
Well, if you know some of the things that happened in
Yeah.
Dune Messiah, anyway, we'll brush over that. I'm hoping that Denis is going to make some changes there. But God Emperor Dune, God Emperor of Dune should be directed by Rebel Wilson. It's just visually delicious, and I don't know if it's going to be as good as Dune 2. But I will say this. If this movie is either on par with Dune 2, which I think is the best film of the last 10 years, or falls somewhere in between Dune Part 1, which was also great, and Dune Part 2, I'm going to say Dune is the greatest sci-fi trilogy of all time.
Wow.
Now, keep in mind, I don't qualify
I had a
Star
feeling.
Wars as a sci-fi. Like, sci-fi is... Like, if you talk to Rob about sci-fi is more about philosophy, imagining what futures can be, like all that kind of stuff. To me, Star Wars, I've come to the point that I believe Star Wars, I kind of, for myself, qualify Star Wars as a fantasy adventure.
It is. Because they never really explain how anything works. It just works. This is our world. This is our...
Anything with lasers is not necessarily sci-fi.
Yeah.
Science fiction is like THX. Right? Science fiction is like 2001. Science fiction is, that's, I don't know that I qualify, although I wouldn't argue with somebody who did qualify Star Wars as sci-fi. I more qualify it as fantasy adventure.
I do too.
Anyway, it's all just semantics. Who cares? But this is, if Dune 3 can come in somewhere in between Dune 1 and Dune 2, or heaven forbid, at the level of Dune 2, we now have 3 greatest trilogies of all time: Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Dune.
100%.
Now, that's a big if. That's a tall ask and a big if for this to be on the level of Dune 2. That's a huge ask. Doesn't need to be. It doesn't have to be as good as Dune 2 to be amazing. But all I know, man, is this trailer, dude.
Yeah.
This trailer's phenomenal.
I
watched it like 15 times this morning.
Speaking of Anne, she has the Dune and Part 1 and 2 posters there. She needs to she needs to get a Dune Part 3. She's got to move the poster for Big, shift that down, and have 1, 2, and 3 going down the hallway. That'd be awesome.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to find this. Oh, yeah, I do. So if you want to know how much my wife loves Dune, this is this was us getting ready to go to... Let's see if I can zoom in on this, but yeah, this was us getting ready to go to see Dune 2. And this, she got her costume all together. And yes, she literally wore that to go see Dune 2.
That's funny.
When I remember when we were watching Dune 1, my wife knew nothing about Dune.
Yeah.
Right? And we watched Dune 1 and it ended. And then I turned to her and I said, I didn't know what she would think. And I'm like, so what did you think? I was hoping she liked it.
Yeah.
And she turned to me and she said, this is now my favorite movie of all time.
Step aside, Big.
Yep. It's Big. Tom Hanks is Big, which has been her favorite film of all time for most of her life. It's now off to the side. Dune became her favorite. And then Dune 2, she liked even more. So, she's going to pull out this costume. Or you know what? For Dune 3, she's probably going to go full Fremen.
Oh, yeah.
She's
Oh, that would
probably
be
going to go
cool.
full Fremen
Yeah.
for dressing up.
I'm
for the
seeing
next
this
one.
for sure. I had such a great experience seeing part 2 at the Chinese theater. I'm seeing part 3 there too.
That's a good theater to go see it in.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? The first trailer for Dune Part 3 has dropped, and it's a masterclass in trailer making, especially for a first trailer. I can't, probably not going to get another trailer for at least another 4 months, 4 or 5 months maybe, but it's coming, and the first one is amazing. Whatever you guys think about it, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts.
I just had this like moment go in my head and go, you never go full Fremen.
Never go full, but she's going to go full Fremen.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We now need to move on to the most important part of our show, which is, of course, taking your comments and questions that you guys have sent in. But before we do, we're going to take a second and thank a sponsor of today's episode of the John Campea Show, our friends at Factor. We want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, Factor. Hey guys, you know how it is. Between the daily live show, tracking the latest box office numbers, and planning our next movie meetup in the van, my schedule gets absolutely hectic. Now, somewhere between the first warm weekend and realizing short season is getting close, eating well stops just being optional. Factor is how we stop letting a busy schedule be our excuse. They provide fully prepared meals designed by dietitians and crafted by chefs. I had their smoky Gouda mac and shredded beef after a long editing session last week on that Spider-Man Rights video I did, and it was amazing. So whether you're looking for calorie smart options or the new Muscle Pro collection, which is perfect if you're getting back into a workout routine, they have 100 rotating weekly meals to keep things fresh. And the best part? They are always fresh, never frozen, and ready in just 2 minutes with zero prep and zero stress. I love it, and I think you will too. So head over to factormeals.com/Campea50off and use the code Campea50off to get 50% off and free breakfast for a year. Offer only valid for new Factor customers with code and qualifying auto-renewing subscription purchase. Make healthier eating easy with Factor. And thank you to our friends at Factor for sponsoring today's episode of the John Campea Show. All right, guys, with that down, let's get on to your questions here, shall we? Jonathan, what we got up first?
First up, Gopala says, my fan cast is Sterling K. Brown as Black Lightning. I'm shocked he's not a bigger star. He's giving one of the best performances on TV at the moment in Paradise Season 2. He's got 1 Oscar nom and 3 Emmys. I hope he gets to lead a movie soon. He deserves it and will kill it.
He's a pretty big star. Sterling K. Brown's a pretty big star. Mm-hmm. You mentioned Emmys and stuff, like a lot of his Emmys for This Is Us.
Yeah.
Which was a great show. And that was really his big breakout thing, but he's been around a lot. Now he's got his own Hulu series. And I don't know that you bring in Black Lightning. I surprisingly really like the Black Lightning show. Worst costume in superhero history. But I really ended up liking the show. I don't see them doing a movie version of it, though. But I'd like to see, and Sterling K. Brown was already in the MCU, so he's kind of limited there. But maybe he can get a role in the DC universe at some point. All right, what's next?
Gabriel says, John, even though I'm a huge Apple sheep, I agree about the whole Siri versus Google topic, though. I'm holding out hope for Siri since Apple and Google just made a partnership so that Siri can use Gemini later this year. Please send your thoughts and prayers.
Yeah, one of the things we talked about the other day is listen, I'm a Mac guy. I love my Mac machines. I've got a Mac laptop. I got a Mac desktop. I've got my iPads, but I hate the iPhone. And I've kind of felt like I've been forced to have an iPhone for the last 5 years, 5-6 years. And there are many things I don't like about the iPhone and prefer with Android. Android's just better. Sorry, guys, it just is. I say this as somebody who's used the iPhone for the last 5, 6, 7 years. But is one of the big standout, not the only thing, but one of the big standout things is Siri sucks. Oh, it's so bad. Especially because I remember when I was on an Android before, 6, 7 years ago, even Android, the Android assistant back then was 10 times better than Siri is today. And so I finally found some really good, reliable ways to have a Google phone interact with all my Mac computers so I can AirDrop and have my text messages come across my phone and my computers. So as soon as I got that down, I'm like, okay, I'm getting an Android again. And I got myself the Fold. This is a beautiful, gorgeous, fantastic, powerful phone. And the best part about it is, to me, that you can set it up so that when you activate the assistant, instead of getting Android Assistant, you go right to Gemini.
Mm-hmm.
You go right to Gemini. And that has been so great. Now, one of the good things for upcoming Siri is that they finally waved the white flag and said, we need Gemini. So it's still going to be Siri sometime next year, but it's going to have Gemini powering it. How that's all going to work, I don't know. But hopefully it'll make it much better. Because, like, seriously, there are many things I don't like about the iPhone, but the thing that by far the worst thing about it to me was Siri sucks. Like, really, really horrible. And if they can fix that one thing, I think it'll improve the iPhone 5 times. If they can, I mean, they'll still have its other problems, but if you can fix the biggest problem, they'll be off and running. So they just need Google to do it. All right, what's next?
Wade's Way says, thanks for bringing the tip link back. I'm seeing Project Hail Mary and Ready or Not 2 this weekend.
Nice.
I'm going to try to see Ready or Not next week. Great combo, if you ask me. Side note, I'm loving that RDJ is fully embracing the Doom color scheme.
Yeah, RDJ's really, like, he's thrown himself purely into promoting Doomsday.
Right.
He's totally into that. And yeah, again, like I said, guys, I went to see Project Hail Mary last night, again, for the second time. And I had to turn to Anne. Because I'm sitting here, right? On this side of me is Anne.
Mm-hmm.
And on this side of me is this woman who's there with her date, boyfriend, husband, don't know who it was. But this woman sitting on this side of me, right? 8 times at least. 8 times at least. I had to turn and look at her because of how loud the sobbing was.
Wow.
And then like the tissues coming out and like all this. I'm not complaining. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. I love seeing people be impacted by the movies they're watching. But I mean, I'm just telling you, she like cried like weeping like 8 times through the movie. But It was glorious. It was really, really good. I cannot wait to go see it for a 3rd time on Thursday.
What formats have you seen it in? Only IMAX?
I've only seen it in IMAX.
Okay.
I've seen it in 2 different IMAX screens. I saw it on a 70 millimeter IMAX screen. Then I saw it on a what they call LIMAX on the more regular IMAX screen. And I think on Thursday I'm going to see it on AMC Prime.
Okay.
All right, what's next?
Murray says, saw an early Amazon Prime screening of Project Hail Mary. Great film, emotional, funnier than expected. Why am I so attached to this rock alien? Ryan Gosling was phenomenal. If this movie isn't nominated by year end, then it's a great 2026 for movies. That's a good take. Because can I just say, most people would have said, if it's not, then they snubbed it or it's a crime or whatever. Thank you. Because that means 2026 was just that good.
Yeah. I've said this about a few other things before, but I mean, if we get to the end of the year and there are literally 10 films better than Project Hail Mary, by the way, it's not going to happen. Project Hail Mary is going to get nominated for Best Picture. But if for whatever reason we get to the end of the year and there are 10,
Yeah.
I mean, a year that there's be one film better than Project Hail Mary would be amazing. But if there were 10, this is going to be one of the best years in film history.
Yeah. Now, do they make the top 5 for director? That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I think Lord and Miller are getting a director nomination for this.
So do I.
Especially when you watch the film, like
What
it's so reliant on direction. But anyway, yeah. All right.
Murray says, postscript to my previous tip on loving Project Hail Mary. In case you were wondering, I was able to appreciate it even without reading the book. Completely understood everything. I guess I watched so many movie genres that I was able to grasp.
You know, that is one of the questions I had coming out of the first time, is because I have gone through the book. So I remember wondering, if like the movie's amazing and phenomenal, but I wonder if people who haven't read the book are going to be able to follow it. I didn't think they couldn't. I just wondered. And Murray, and who's just wrote that in now, and several other people have written into me to say they were at the advanced fan screenings. They had never read the book, and they said they followed along perfectly. It was great. So that's really good to hear. All right, what's next? All
right, Will Penny says, hi, John. If you had to rank the 4 acting Oscar winners from Sunday night, who would you put and where? For me, it's Penn by far at top spot, with Buckley slightly behind, then Madigan at number 3, and then Jordan at 4. No shade for Jordan. For me, his best is Black Panther.
I think his best performance was Fruitvale Station. But I mean, look, I'm not going to do the rankings, but I will say at the top of the list is the guy who co-holds the record for most Oscars by any actor.
Yeah.
Sean Penn. By winning that Oscar, he joins Daniel Day-Lewis and
Gosh.
Meryl Streep, but
Yeah.
also one other actor.
One other guy.
And I'm forgetting who it is now. But anyway, by winning his third, he becomes one of the all-time leaders for most Oscars ever. And by the way, when you look at how good he is in this movie, so I'm saying Rebel Wilson. Jack Nicholson was Jack the one with the third?
I think that was it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like I don't think he's done it 3. I think he's got another one in him. But yeah, I mean, out of that list, that wonderful list of 4. And by the way, if you look at the year that Jessie Buckley just had,
Mm-hmm.
not just for winning an Oscar for Hamnet, but she was amazing in a very mediocre film in The Bride.
Yeah.
She's going to get more than one Oscar too. She's going to have more than one. She is phenomenal. But yeah, I'll say Sean Penn's at the top of the list. All right, what's next?
I am Jack says, saw Project last night. Cost is killing movies. Took 3 kids after dinner and snacks. It was $200. Don't get the snacks. I'm with you. Martian is the better movie. Really enjoyed Project Hail Mary, but felt like there was a lack of tension. Success felt never in doubt. 7.5 out of 10.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that part. You know what? I said yesterday that I think I prefer The Martian, because I love The Martian.
Mm-hmm.
I think I prefer The Martian over Project Hail Mary as the movie. I think the book Project Hail Mary is better than The Martian. I think the movie The Martian is better than the movie than Project Hail Mary. But after watching Project Hail Mary again last night,
Mm-hmm.
I might have to reconsider that. I got to think about it. But what I will say is this: while it is true that going to the movies today is more expensive than ever, going out to dinner and buying snacks, you can't hold that against the movies.
Yeah.
Going out to the dinner for 4. Well, okay, yeah, but that's going out for a dinner with you and your family. That's totally separate. And by the way, when you go to the movies, you don't have to buy popcorn and soda. I mean, I do. I have to. It's too built into my DNA now. But I mean, you don't have to. Like, you can go to the movies, you 4 kids, $65, man. Like, what else can you do with your kids for $65? Anyway, but yes, it is more expensive than ever to go to the movies today. There's no doubt about that. But you can't tack on. I took Uber Black to the theater, and then I ate at Ruth's Crisp.
Movies are expensive.
And then I went, man, going to the movies is expensive.
You got to go to Ruth's Chris if you're going to go to the movies. I mean, we're just teasing. But also, I would recommend, because I'm in that family life, at least if you have an AMC near you, Tuesdays and Wednesdays, no joke, it is 50% off.
Yeah.
And that is for all formats. I've taken my girls to like IMAX movies for like $11 each, each person. It's great. And then I have A-list, so then that's great too.
All right, what's next?
All right, we're moving on to super chats here. So first up, we've got Jeff, who says, "My name is Jeff. The news about Rebel Wilson's PR team is gross and unacceptable." I agree.
Yeah, and again, remember, Hollywood Reporter's putting up the audio files, but I mean, keep in mind, it's all alleged, could be a big misunderstanding, all of that. I'm just saying that if this is the way it looks, then that's horrible. And to see that this same company is the same one that is doing this, and the same company that is the Justin Baldoni thing, and the same company, like that's disturbing. It's really disturbing. Stuff like this should just not be allowed. Anyway. All right, what's next?
Johnny, excuse me. Johnny got lost. Could the WB board send a letter to shareholders before the vote outlining the risks with the shaky deal, or stay neutral since they deemed the deal lucrative?
No. Guy, listen. I put up an editorial video last night talking about the debt that Paramount is going to have. Like, when Paramount, just to summarize it, Once Paramount completes the deal to get Warner Brothers, they will have a combined debt of $79 billion. To put that in perspective, that is $4.8 billion in interest they're going to owe on that a year.
Mm-hmm.
That is more than their entire box office take this year. Their entire box office take is less than the interest. So at the end of this year, the $79 billion debt is going to be an $83.8 billion debt. To put it into more perspective, every hour is going to cost Paramount $500,000. Every hour that passes on a $79 billion debt at a 5.7% interest rate, every hour is costing them $500,000. Every second that a clock ticks is $142. $142 every second. $12.5 million a day. In 13 days, the interest that they're going to owe in 13 days could have paid for another Superman movie.
Oh, man.
Anyway. The reason I bring up all that is because a lot of people see that and they're like, well, then Warner Brothers should get out of it. Look, guys, listen. The Warner Brothers shareholders don't care.
I don't care.
They don't care. All the Warner Brothers shareholders care is that somebody is paying them $31 per share.
Yeah. And then they're out.
It's like, and I try to explain it like this. Let's say you've got a car that you've had for like 10 years and you're going to sell the car for $10,000. A car that you only thought was worth $7,000, but somebody's willing to give you 10. Guess what? You don't care what they do with the car once you get your money. You don't care. You want to piss in it? Go ahead.
I don't know why you'd want to, but go ahead.
You want to lube up the tailpipe and have intimate relations with it? Go ahead. Knock yourself out. You be you.
I recommend not running the engine.
Yeah,
like,
maybe not,
beforehand.
maybe not having it running while you're going. You know, you be you. But once you take your $10,000, you don't care what they do with the car. It's not your car anymore. You don't care. It's theirs now. You got your money. They can do whatever they want to the car. They can take really good care of it, or they can run it into the ground. It's none of your business anymore. You don't care. And that's what it is with the Warner Brothers shareholders.
Yeah.
Everybody, and I think I'm a Warner Brothers shareholder through one of my ETFs.
Yeah, because they're going to be gone. And then now what that says for the new ticker for Skydance, Paramount, Warner Brothers, that's another story. That may tank.
Yeah, but they won't own their shares anymore.
That won't matter to them.
So no matter how bad this is. Now, the people who should be worried are not Warner Brothers shareholders because they're getting their money.
Skydance, Paramount.
It's the Paramount shareholders that should be concerned.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Ted Sarandos is like, good.
Yeah, good. Do it.
Yeah.
So there's that. Anyway, all right, what's next?
All right. What is next? Super Nintendo Chalmers just a thought, but Gamora is from a different universe. Might be a problem in Doomsday.
She's not.
She's not from. She's the same universe.
This is why Marvel's multiverse thing is they had literally 7 different movies that had 7 different explanations for what alternate realities were. And I won't run through all of them again, but technically speaking,
It's an altered 616.
Gamora is not from a different universe. She is still a 616 Gamora, just from the past.
Right.
Like, how far behind did they say she's running? 3 years behind or whatever?
Whatever
but
it is.
that Gamora is still a 616 Gamora. It's really convoluted.
Yeah, when they started mixing time and alternate universes, like the fractures in time are what create the alternate universe, it got really convoluted. But
all right, what's next?
Keaton says Christmas came early. Told my girlfriend she's the second best thing I saw today. Let's go, Denis.
And you know what? If I said that to my wife would give me the judge. I'll allow it. because it's Dune. I think she would agree with me. That's a good line, man. I got to remember. I'm going to say that to my wife.
You
when
may
she
never
gets
have a
home.
Christmas again, but
Yeah, I mean, but no, that's when my wife will go, yep, okay, I'll allow that one. All right, what's
we
next?
got Legend Hercules Gaming says, hi, John Campea. I love your amazing movies and TV series reviews.
Thank you.
Opinions. Would you ever see any movie starring Donnie Yen, upcoming Ip Man 5 and other movies?
So, look, how many times over the years have I talked about Donnie Yen?
Donnie Yen is amazing.
I've talked about Donnie Yen a lot. I love Donnie Yen.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I've never talked about Ip Man. I mostly focus on movies and shows, and this goes all the way back to like AMC days. I mostly focus on movies and shows that the majority of my audience has also seen, because I mean, there's not a lot of point in me talking about stuff that becomes a point of disassociation with the rest of my audience. So you probably won't see me reviewing Ip Man 5 or whatever, but I love Donnie Yen whenever he pops up in a lot of other stuff too. I just think he's great.
Yep.
All right, what's next?
Josh Molinari, one gives support. Thank you.
Thank you, Josh.
And then follows up and says, if Dune Part 3 is better than Part 2, I can't see a world in which it doesn't receive the Return of the King treatment and win Best Picture at the 26 Oscars.
Well, but here's the problem. And this is a great problem to have. Winning an Oscar is not about how good you are. Winning an Oscar is about how good was everybody else too.
Yeah.
Because listen, there's a lot of years that Sinners would have won Best Picture.
Mm-hmm. I think it came close.
And I know for a fact it came close. There's a lot of years that it would have won, but it happened to come out in the same year.
Right.
And listen, there's a lot of actors today who would have had Oscars on their mantles.
But not for.
But
yeah.
Daniel Day-Lewis made movies those same years.
Yeah.
What you gonna do? Robin Williams would have had 2 Oscars, but I believe it was the year he won one for Good Will Hunting.
Yeah.
But he was nominated for Best Actor for Good Morning Vietnam. Problem? That happened to be the same year, if I remember correctly, that Michael Douglas did a little movie called Wall Street, and you weren't going to beat him that year. So, I mean, it's even if Dune 3 is even better than Dune Part 2, there's still a possibility that the Odyssey could be better than it. And what a world that... Guys, sorry, I'm just getting a bit of an erection here, thinking about the idea.
Your watch is going off.
My watch is going off again with my heart rate. That we could have a year where we have 2 movies that are better than the movie I think is the best film of the last 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Could you imagine if both the Odyssey and Dune Part 3 were both better than Dune Part 2?
Yes.
I'm getting the chills. I'm literally getting the chills. Anyway. All right, what's next?
What is next? We got Pedro, who says, howdy, John. Wanted your thoughts on good Canadian kid Jeff, is it Niley, being disappointed that his father, David Niley, was excluded from the in memoriam part of the Oscars, but you can't fit everyone.
Look, I mean, he's the guy who does the Game Awards, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And his dad was like one of the main guys behind IMAX.
Yeah. I believe the Academy stated there were 300 people who passed that were part of the Academy.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, this comes up every year with the in memoriam. There's always people upset about somebody who didn't get included. And listen, and I totally understand that. I do. But you literally can't do everybody, and they do the best they can. And some years there are more bigger omissions than others. And listen, am I surprised that somebody's son is upset that his dad didn't get included?
Of course.
Of course. I understand that. No problems with that. That's totally fine. Do I agree with him? No. I mean, could they have included him? Yes. I think there's an argument to be made of why he could have been included, but at the same time, you're never going to include everybody. And so I get it, but yeah, I'm perfectly fine that he wasn't on the list, but I would have been perfectly fine too if he was. Mm-hmm. I also have no problem that he's complaining publicly because, hey, if it was my dad, I'd be complaining too.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
NK says, I finished The Sopranos last night. The ending caught me off guard. I thought my TV went out. Overall, such a masterpiece of a show and great experience.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when Sopranos ended, there was a lot of talk about that ending, man, with the screen going black.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you understood the show, you knew what the screen going black meant. They alluded to it before.
I mean, it was pretty obvious with those guys walking in.
But yeah, I still remember, man, there were some people really upset about the way that ended. All right, what's next?
I still say justice for Adriana. Man. When
that scene is so disturbing.
That I liked what's his name's character?
The E Street Band
Silvio.
dude?
It was Silvio, but it's Steven Van Zandt. Until that moment. And I said, you know what? You can burn in hell.
But but that was their way.
I know. But I understand that. I'm just saying, but now this is my way.
But
you
man,
must
that
burn in
whole
hell.
scene, like when they're still on the highway, the performances in
building?
that scene were so good because you could tell the exact moment on the highway still that she figured it out. She knew she was never coming back from that car ride.
Yeah.
But man, it got so visceral too, as she's like, no,
Yeah.
and like, oh man, whew. That show was so good. Sopranos was so good. It's not surprising. A lot of people still think that's the greatest show of all time. I'm not one of them, but it was a great show.
And The Wire, people love
The
The Wire to this
Wire
day.
for sure.
Bry Guy, will Doomsday outgrows Barbenheimer 2.4? Yes, it will.
Oh yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Listen, it may be true that both Barbie and Oppenheimer will make more money individually than Dune 3 does. Because Dune is not a movie that's for everybody. It's more high, as Rob would say, highfalutin sci-fi, more philosophical. A lot of these things. It's not for the masses. It's not a 4-quadrant movie. So I don't think Dune 3 is $1 billion film. I do think it's a $700-800 million film. But both Oppenheimer and Barbie made more than that. Barbie made close to 1.5. Oppenheimer came within a hair.
It's like 9 something, right?
Yeah, 900 plus. Came within a hair of being $1 billion film. So I think both Barbie and Oppenheimer will end up making more money than Dune 3. But Dune 3 and Avengers Doomsday combined will absolutely be more than Barbie and Oppenheimer combined. Of that, I have no doubt.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Gavin says, no spoilers, but after the big screen scene in Project Hail Mary, it was impossible to keep a dry eye. Can't wait to read it after seeing it in theaters. I'm going to read it after seeing it too.
Yeah, see, guys, I cannot recommend this enough. If you have not read the book, don't. Watch the movie first. Watch the movie so you can take in and experience the movie on its own merits without any noise of all of your knowledge of the book in your head. So you're not sitting there thinking, well, they left this out and they left this out. Just watch the movie for the movie. And yeah, I'm telling you what, like I said, I had this girl sitting beside me that like broke into audible weeping like 8 times through the film. And it's just a beautiful movie, man. All right, what's next?
We got Jay Tovin, who says Dune is threatening to be the GOAT trilogy.
Listen, man, it's threatening. If I won't put it into historical context until I've sat with Dune for like 3, 4, 5, 6 months once I see Dune 3. But I mean, if it's as good as Dune 2, which is a tall order, or even 80% as good as Dune 2, then it is automatically and instantly, you now have a triumvirate of trilogies. It's Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, and Dune, in no particular order. I mean, Star Wars is the king, of course, but it's Star Wars, Dune, and Lord of the Rings. It is, you'll have this triumvirate of the greatest trilogies of all time, forever and always. Amen. All right, what's next?
All right. And I am assuming that they're going to be re-releasing at least Dune Part 2 before the lead up. That would be a smart thing to do. Ishmael says, hey, John, the Dune trailer did not need sandworms to be perfect. My favorite trilogy already.
My God, I didn't even think about that.
But a lot of it isn't on Arrakis, right? I mean, I don't
know.
know.
But a lot of it is.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're right. Normally, they really want to showcase the worms. But yeah, I didn't even realize that. There were no worms in there.
We got Spencer, who says, I saw Project Hail Mary early last night at my IMAX. Incredible film. The Maori farewell song from my home, New Zealand, made me cry. Beautiful moment. That's really cool.
Yeah, you know what? Somebody said to me, I think it was somebody on our show wrote in, after I saw it for the first time, said, the only thing that bothered me, like, I loved the movie, it was great, but the only thing that bothered me was I didn't like the music choices. And I thought, no, I don't agree with that. But you know what? After watching it again last night, I think the soundtrack selections could have been better. I think the soundtrack collections could have been better. But whatever, it's a magnificent movie.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Mason says, hey, John, will you be doing a Daredevil after show?
You know what? I think I am. At
least for a first couple, right? Unless you have to fall off.
Yeah, unless I start to realize I don't like the show, I think I am going to do a Daredevil post show. Cool. Yeah, I think I will.
Then we got Speed Racers, says Gollum and Batman 2 filming at the same time. Less Alfred.
They work out the schedules.
Yeah.
They work out the schedules. Remember, like, for the first Batman movie, I think Andy Serkis, I think they said he was only on set for 6 days.
He was only in 3 locations. So
yeah.
you can group a lot of those shots.
So, and they can get him more than 6 days if they need to over the course of 4 months of shooting. But
yeah.
So you could literally get him in the movie as much as he was in the first film, and it really not bat an eye. They just have to plan it out, schedule it out, and they'll make it work.
Yep.
All right, what's next?
Ron H with a $20 super chat. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Ron. Appreciate that, man.
I'm a fan of manga and anime versions, and I'm in awe of how amazing I believe the One Piece live action series has been adapted. Have you gotten a chance to watch it yet? He's talking about the live action. I think you will certainly be entertained.
Oh, I've talked about it many times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so for years I've had people trying to turn me on to the anime of One Piece, and
about
I finally
3,000 episodes.
But yeah, there's several bajillion episodes. So I did eventually give it a try, and it's not for me. It's just not for me. No shade, just not for me. And then I had some people say, well, once the live series came out, they said, John, you should really give it a shot. And I thought, I'll give it a shot. Loved it. I really I'm not going to say it's the best thing ever, but I really liked the One Piece season 1.
Mm.
And so I am anxiously waiting for Anne to watch season 1 so I can watch season 2 with her. So I am looking forward to watching season 2. But yes, I very much enjoyed season 1. And I have talked about that quite a bit on the show, that I really do like season 1 a lot. So I'm looking forward to seeing season 2.
Okay, then we got some support from Zach Taylor. Thank you.
Thank you, Zach.
$20 super chat from Mr. I.
Oh, thank you, Mr. I. Appreciate that, man.
It's a 2-parter. Well, St. Patty's Day started off with a bang here in Cleveland. Literally, an 8-ton meteor exploded roughly 50 miles above us, traveling 44,000 miles per hour as it hit the atmosphere. The explosion shook my house. It was loud, I can imagine. And then it goes on here. I had a weird urge afterwards to watch Deep Impact. Man, I wish we had a president with 10% of the class that Morgan Freeman portrayed.
My fellow Americans. That's okay. I got to look. Have you heard of that?
No, that's awesome. Dangerous, but that's awesome.
I have to look that up. That is crazy.
Yeah.
Let me bring up his message again.
Sure. I mean, maybe.
No, you don't have. Yeah. First of all, being St. Patrick's Day, I don't know if you could tell. I found the only even remotely green things that I own. So there's this. It's not a shamrock. This is actually a Toronto. This is a Toronto Maple Leaf thing, but it's in green. And I put on my green hat. Did the best that I could. This is all the green that I have. All of it that I have. But now I got to go on YouTube and see if anybody got footage of this thing. I would love to see that.
Me
That's
too.
awesome. I remember watching there was this YouTube video of this meteor that I think said fell over Russia. It was about a year or two ago.
Oh, I saw a video of that.
And it when it hit the atmosphere, it lit up the entire countryside. So it looked like it was midnight. And then for a split second, it looked like it was the middle of the afternoon.
They probably thought a nuclear explosion went off.
Oh, it looked crazy.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Josh says, you can only save one. Which one do you save? Star Wars prequel or Dune? Wait, this is too easy. Of course, the Dune trilogy. You can only save one. Oh, this is a gimme. I think that's the joke. The prequel goes.
Well, since the Star Wars prequels are insufferable burning piles of dog shit, and the Dune films are amongst the greatest ever made.
It's too much sand in Dune.
I will save the Dune ones.
Sand gets everywhere.
This one was pretty easy. I'll save the Dune ones. All right, what's
LGW
next?
says, "Hey John, big fan from NB. Is that Nebraska? Watching
or New Brunswick, Canada?
Could be.
Okay.
Watching about 8 years. Thank you. Just finished Dark, and it blew my mind. Have you or Jonathan seen it? Also, from filmed in Nova Scotia is great. New season in April. Is that the German?
That's
series?
the German film, the German series, right?
Yeah,
Dark?
I think so.
Wait a second. That was not shot in Nova Scotia. Also, you're from Nova Scotia.
Also from, but it says filmed in Nova.
The show From.
Oh, From. Yes.
Yes.
Got it.
Okay, I quite like From. I like From a lot. By the way, little bit of John Campea trivia. I was born in Nova Scotia. I am Italian Canadian. So the way that all worked out was my dad came over on the boat when he was a teenager. My grandfather and his 4 brothers, my grandfather, who I'm named after, Giovanni, and his 4 brothers, Carlo, Sigarlo, Romolo, and Vincenzo. My family's as Italian as it gets. Came over, and they moved into Hamilton, Ontario, the Hammer, which is where I call home. And then my dad went to university at St. Mary's University in Halifax, Nova Scotia, where he met a young girl that lived in Halifax, Nova Scotia, named Sue Mackenzie, and she became Sue Campea. And my dad, whose name is Pasquale, that's where they met. And I was born out there. I was born in Nova Scotia. And I did not know that From filmed out there. Now that you mention it, it looks exactly like that's where they shoot, but I never knew that. Never knew it. All right, what's next?
Cam Prod says, is Dune Part 3 The Return of the King for Denis? We shall see.
I mean, look, trailers are trailers. We've all seen bad trailers to some stuff that's turned out to be great, and we've all seen some terrific trailers that turn out to be things that are terrible. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but it is hard because you're damn right it looks like Denis' Return of the King. So we'll see. We'll see.
All right, we got Dean Talks Movies with a thumbs up. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean.
Logan says Doomsday should move. They'll both make their money, but this matchup is going to hurt the Marvel brand. Should move it and the narrative be Doomsday was fun rather than Dune wipes the floor with Doomsday. I don't foresee that happening.
I do not agree at all. These are 2 very different films that attempt to do different things, and Avengers Doomsday is going to make a hell of a lot more money than Dune is. Like, look, at the end of the day, I think Dune will be the better film, but Avengers Doomsday, listen, both of these films are also coming out in the time of year that the most people, this is statistically proven, more people go to the movies in the second half of December than in any other window throughout the movie year. Not summer, not any time else. The second half of December is when most people go to the movies. There is plenty to go around. I used to believe that you couldn't release a bunch of high-profile films in that same season, but that got proven wrong year after year after year after year. Now, releasing them both on the same day, I wouldn't have advised it, but I have to admit they've gotten me on board. I have the Doomsday fever. I'm excited about not just watching both of them on opening day, but maybe trying to get in 3 screenings, like maybe seeing one once and one twice on the same day. Like I'm getting caught up in the spirit of Festivus. I'm feeling like I can't wait. I think the whole weekend is going to be a Doomsday weekend for me.
Well, you got your half off popcorn deal, right? Did you get that?
Yes, I did.
I just recently got that too.
I'll tell you what, and I forgot that I got the popcorn, but it doesn't matter. Once you scan, because I always scan my AMC A-list thing when I get there, it automatically applies the discount. So whenever the total comes up for the last 2 months, I'm always a little bit surprised that it's not more expensive than I thought it was going to be.
I just wish you could get that deal by getting it on the app as well, but you have to get it in line.
Is that true?
Yeah. They said
No.
this this deal works in line only.
Oh.
Yeah. So don't if you go to buy it on the app, if you pre-order it, you're going to pay full.
Interesting to know. All right. What's next?
Logan said BTA something or other says, "Hi from Toronto.
T-Dot.
Thoughts on Cineplex CEO receiving the Legend of Cinema Award at 2026 CinemaCon. Only Martin Scorsese in 2023 has ever given one. Been given one.
You know, I have a very clear love-hate relationship with Cineplex.
Mm-hmm.
That is the movie theater chain in Canada. If you go to the movies in Canada, it's most likely that you go to a Cineplex. Because I'll tell you what, when I was doing AMC, when I was running all the stuff over at AMC and doing Movie Talk, deep down I thought I was just building a bridge. I've said this before, that what I really wanted to do, I wanted to use AMC as my resume.
Mm-hmm.
Because I wanted to go home. I want to go back to Canada. And I wanted to do what I did for AMC for Cineplex. I grew up in Cineplex. My entire childhood and my young movie-going days was all in Famous Players, which the mergers happened, and it was all Cineplex. The Ancaster Silver City Cineplex, I mean, I can't even begin to tell you how many hours I spent in that damn place. I still go there every time I go back home. That's what I really wanted to do. I wanted to do what I built at AMC, and I wanted to do it for Cineplex. Then Cineplex started getting really disgusting. I won't run through it all again, but they really hate their customers. At least that's my perception. That they really hate their customers and do everything they can to kind of screw their customers. And I kind of became very disillusioned with Cineplex over the years.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the last few years, I've seen them improve. Like the last couple of times I've gone home and I've gone to Cineplex, I've seen some of the things I had issue with them correcting. And that's been good to see. So, I mean, if this CEO is part of the reason why things I think are getting a little bit better there, then that's great. I mean, who knows? Maybe I'll have a chance to bump into him at CinemaCon and say, hey, hire me. Guys, I'll tell you right now. I will tell you this right now. You guys know I've got my plans.
Everyone's a schemer.
I'm a schemer. I've got my retirement plans, right? I'll tell you this right now. With all the criticism I've had with them and everything too, if Cineplex offered me the opportunity to go and build Cineplex Movie Talk or whatever I would name it, I would cancel my retirement plans. I really would. I really would. That I'm just, even the times that they've frustrated me and stuff like that, the reality is there is always going to be a place in my heart because I've spent so much of my life there and it means so much to me. And my love of movies was really fostered in the hallowed walls of Cineplex theaters, that I would totally do that. I really would. Anyway. All right. What's next?
Got Arun. These are the final four here. Love from India. Did you watch Poker Face and did you like it?
I did watch a bunch of I didn't finish it though. I don't know why, because I did like it. Mm-hmm. And the woman in it who was in Fantastic Four.
Yes.
Why am I freezing on her name? She became Ben Grimm's love interest in Fantastic Four. I'm freezing on her name, but she's terrific. It's a really good series.
Natasha Lyonne.
Yes, Natasha Lyonne. She's fantastic, and I do have to finish watching that.
Nathan the Baron says, if I had to place a bet that the best film of 26 is Dune 3 or any other 2026 release, after that trailer, I would put my money on Dune. Of course, you can never bet on a trailer.
Yeah, but at the same time,
it is Denny.
In the span of 4 days, I, for the first time, saw the Odyssey prelude.
Yeah.
And the Dune 3 trailer. I don't know, man. All I know is that we win. We win. We're getting Project Hail Mary this year. Which is awesome. We're getting Odyssey this year, which is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
And we're getting Dune 3 this year, which is going to be awesome. I mean, I would take any year just having one of these three.
Not to mention some of the other not mid-tier, but just a bit below those, you know?
Yeah. All right, what's next?
We got Jeff again. Sarandos wants theatrical as much as the shareholders' value allows, and the value has always been built on streaming. He can say all he wants, though. Well, when you're bringing in...
but essentially what you're saying is this, though. What you've just said is this, is that they've made their money, Kodak has made their money with film, so they shouldn't get involved in digital. Blockbuster makes its money on DVDs. They shouldn't get involved with streaming.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Netflix. That's why Sarando said during, the process of them trying to buy Warner Brothers, he said, yeah, like at Netflix, the theatrical model has never been our thing, but Warner Brothers it is, and we would love to get into that business. So here's the thing. Part of the criticism that both Rob and I have had for Netflix over the years is that they're leaving money on the table by not putting their toes a little bit more into theatrical.
And
there is free money for them to make.
Yeah.
Free money.
And the opportunity to have more people join their streaming because you've advertised in theaters.
Yes. And because you put a movie in theaters first, by the way, this happened. They've done this. They've tested this and it's been proven out. You put it in theaters first. Then when you put it on streaming, it has a bigger debut on streaming
big time
than it would have if you hadn't had it in theaters first.
It does for you and I, and we're in this business. There's no way when we see, like I saw on Peacock, Hamnet is on. Whoa, Hamnet's on Peacock. Awesome. I want to watch that here.
Yeah.
I could care less if it was like some Peacock original movie that dropped. You know what I mean?
And by the way, Netflix is going to have to find more revenue streams because at some point, everybody's going to have Netflix. Like everybody who would get a streaming service was going to have it. You only have Rob talks about that a lot. You only have so big of a market. And once you saturate the market, you've got to find new revenue streams and theatrical is the way for them to do it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And keep in mind that, Netflix was a DVD delivery service before it was ever a streamer. So you got to change.
Is this the last one?
This is it. Seba says, hey, Campea crew, love the show. My wife is finally here from Ecuador. Been here for 5 months. Congratulations. We love watching together as it helps her improve her English. Apologies then for that. Could y'all wish her a warm welcome to the United States, of course?
Well, welcome here. That is great. You know what's funny? And I've heard this a couple of times, but I was hit with it like 3, 4, or 5 times during the movie meetup tour, which was how many people have told me they kind of learned English.
That's interesting.
Or worked on their English by watching Movie Talk or the John Campea Show and stuff like that. And so that's always been kind of a really pleasant, surprising thing to me. So thank you so much for that. I appreciate hearing that. And welcome to your new home. That is awesome. And all right, guys. That'll do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show. Thank you so much for being here and making our little show part of your day. Big special thank you to all you guys who sent in the questions. Number 1, because you gave us great fun things to talk about. But number 2, you supported this channel as you did it. And all of us involved with the show, thank you guys so very much for your support. I want to give a big thanks to, of course, our technical producer, Jonathan Voico.
See you guys later.
My name's John Campea. We'll see you tomorrow, guys. And until then, my friends, bye-bye.